Hey guys, first of all, I want to just start by thanking each and every person here for your support of the SHIPS Act, which is Mr. Garamendi and Todd Young and Mark Kelly and you and I, but mostly we're just talking about right here, John Garamendi and I, right?
We're talking about you and I.
And let me tell you, this is one of the most transformational and best things that can happen for America. We can sit here all the time. We're a great nation because we're a great maritime nation. We used to could say that, but we've slipped. And if we want to get back to the greatness of America, then it takes an investment in our shipbuilding industry. And that's both commercial and military. You can't do one without the other. If you want to be a great maritime nation, you have to build great maritime ships. We got to put a lot of steel in the water that floats and carries goods. We have to make sure that we can maintain those things. We've got to make sure that we can man and support American flag vessels. That's what we have to do. And I'm gonna tell you, John Garamendi, I couldn't ask for a better partner to work with who understands the importance of this. We have a joint hearing later on today with Transportation and Infrastructure. This bill that we have crosses several jurisdictions, but listen, we're not going to get over the finish line unless everybody pushes real hard. Capitol Hill is a place that good ideas come to die. Okay? People like to talk about doing things. We don't want to talk about doing things. We want to succeed in getting America back to the place of prominence in building ships, building our defense industrial base, building our entire industrial base, where people are proud to do the hard jobs that pay well, that they can raise their family every single day. That is what American is. And the other part of that is we've got to invest in young mariners. If we want to build ships, you got to have mariners to man them. And we have such great partners here who are committed to doing that. But I ask y'all to do one thing for me. I'm pushing as hard as I can. I got a funny accent, but other than that, I work real hard and I don't mind speaking. But you guys each have to help me push. Inaction is not enough. Talk is not enough. We have to push our elected officials. We have to push the administration. We have to push our other members of Congress. We have to push industry so that we make sure that we bring this to reality. I fear that if we don't do this by the end of the year, we may never do it. Time is of the essence. Time is urgent. We've got to start the process, make small incremental moves toward that, but at the end of the day, we have to get this done. And I apologize I have to leave, but I obviously have hearings and everything else. But John Garamendi is such a great partner.
Indeed.
Just such a great partner.
Trent, thank you. It's easy to be a great partner when you have a great partner. Trent, thank you so very, very much. Later this afternoon, Trent will be leading one of the committees, and we'll be taking up the larger issue of building ships, both naval ships and the commercial ships. We're on our way. We're on our way here. The support group that you see here is replicated all across the nation, and we are going to make this happen. We're going to make this happen because we have to do it. America has to do it. We have no choice. There are a lot of other things that are going to pile on, and maybe they'll be seen as to having a higher priority. But there was a very, very important moment in a hearing this morning with the commander of the Indo-PACOM. That's all of the Pacific and all of the Indian Ocean, all of the issues of China, all of that. And Admiral Paparo made it very, very clear. He volunteered. He said, "We cannot support our troops, our actions in the Pacific. We need ships." And he was talking specifically about military vessels that would be the supply ships. We're talking about the commercial piece of it here. Some of that will be part of the military. In fact, we were talking earlier about some of the ships that are now supporting the actions in the Middle East with the Iran situation. And those are commercial ships. They are manned by Americans under the contracts with the military. but we ought not be in a position where we have to do that. We're going to need the military side of it, and we need American ships. We need to build them in America. We do that, as Trent said so very, very clearly. It's not just the ships on the water and what that brings to security for our nation, but it's also the jobs. It's the steel, it's the electrical work, it's all of those pieces, very complex, that go into shipbuilding. And we can do this because we must do it. And it'll be spread out across the nation. This isn't just a job for the maritime folks in some port in the south or, well, California, how about the Bay Area, or any other place. All of this will inure to the benefit of every working man and woman in this nation. It's electronics, it's engines that are going to be built in the Midwest, it's steel that's going to be produced in the upper Midwest. All of that is what will come of this effort. And we're talking about a major opportunity here and a major necessity. And we're not going to be able to do this by Trent and I and our Senate colleagues howling into the wind. We can only do this with the support of all of you. And so my message today is this is another step along the way to our success of creating a resurgent, a reinvention and a reestablishment of the American maritime industry. It is a major step forward. It's not the first. It's going to be the big step along the way. So this is going to, as Trent said, we must get this done this year. Next year is going to be, who knows what's going to happen. We've been at this now for almost 15 months since the introduction of the bill, and we're going to take this afternoon's meeting, the hearing that we have, and we're going to formally put in before the Congress of the United States in two committees, the two key committees, the legislation. And we will then be in a position to move that legislation at an appropriate time, at an appropriate moment that will undoubtedly exist. So this is a step forward. Now, Trent was so very, very clear. He and I have two rather large-sized boots, but that's not enough. We need your boots. We need your voice, and we need all that comes with it. I'm going to ask Matt, if you could join us from the Shipbuilders. This is your turf, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Come on, Matt.
Thank you.
Fill in here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman Kelly. Thank you, Congressman Garamendi. Congressman and I go back many, many years working tirelessly on efforts to really revolutionize and energize the shipbuilding industry. In fact, we worked on the Energizing American Shipbuilding Act, which is part of the SHIPS Act, creating cargo so we can move ships globally. Listen, not in 50 years have we seen something as important as what Congressman Garamendi and Chairman Kelly have worked on with the SHIPS Act. It is the foundational laws that will provide for a national maritime strategy, hundreds of maritime prosperity zones, a commercial strategic fleet of 250 vessels that we need for global logistics. And sir, I want to tell you emphatically, industry is with you, industry is grateful for your work, and we want to see this moment met. We've seen an enormous budget come out from the President's office. We've seen a maritime action plan that speaks to your legislation, sir, and now we got to go implement it and provide that legal certainty for our shipyards to make the investments we want to make and continue to make in our facilities, in our workforce, and our supply chains. So I couldn't be happier, more honored to be here at this moment. And again, Congressman Garamendi, your passion, your commitment to the industry is unmatched, and I'm grateful to be here. With that, I'm going to hand it back over to you,
Thank
sir.
you. Matt, the reality is, yes, we worked on the pieces of this puzzle for more than a decade. And now all the pieces are in one place. And so it's really important. What's the word? Ships need cargo.
That's right.
Cargo is king. And in this legislation there's also an element for the training of the men and women on the ships and those who will build the ships. So all of the pieces of the puzzle are in this. And you brought up an issue which I should have hit right at the outset, and that this legislation mirrors the executive order that the President put out. There's some differences here and there. They're not significant, but the administration formally is in support of what we're trying to do. And so we're working with them. There may be some details that we'll deal with along the way, but we are working together. It's bipartisan. Trent and I over in bicameral. Yes, the House will work with the Senate on occasion, and this is one such occasion. So we're looking forward to that. Brian Schreimer?
Right here.
Come on, Brian.
Good to see you, Congressman.
You got it.
Hey, Brian.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Brian Chainham, and I'm the chairman of USA Maritime. I'm also the legislative director for the Seafarers Union. USA Maritime is a coalition of ship operators, labor unions, and trade associations. We represent pretty much the entire international sailing U.S. flag merchant marine. It is hard for me to understate, it's hard for me to overstate, I should say, the importance of the SHIPS Act to the American maritime industry, to my companies, and to the members of the labor unions that we support. These are merchant mariners who go out to sea every day. They're getting shot at in the Persian Gulf. They are working long hours to make sure that we are bringing the goods everywhere around the world. The SHIPS Act is the most important piece of legislation we have seen in the last 70 years, probably going back to the Merchant Marine Act of 1936. It has the potential to almost triple the size of our commercial fleet. It is going to create shipbuilding jobs, it's going to create ship operating jobs, it's going to create merchant mariner jobs, and it's going to help our economy. We got to get it done now. Now is the time. We can't afford to wait. We've been waiting, we've been pushing, trying to get something done in little increments, as Congressman Kelly said, but now is not the time for incremental change. Now is the time for bold action. We have a bipartisan support for this bill from the White House and in Congress, both House and Senate. We have over 150 co-sponsors in the House. We have almost a dozen sponsors in the Senate. We have the President on board. Now is the time. If we can get this done now, we're going to put ourselves on the right trajectory to put this industry back where it was at the end of World War II, when American flag was the only flag you saw on the ocean. We have the chance. We've got to do it now. We cannot afford to wait. Congressman Kelly said, we talk a lot. This is Capitol Hill. You could run the city of D.C. on the hot air generated by this building.
Please, please.
You know it. But now is the time for action. And fortunately, we have the right people in place. Congressman Garamendi has been working these issues for a long time. Chairman Kelly's been working these issues for a long time. On the Senate side, Senator Kelly, Senator Young, we've got the crew. We've got all these men and women behind us. Many of them are sailing mariners in the merchant marine right now. Many of them are shipyard workers who are working to build ships today. We're ready to go. You give us this bill, the President signs it, we'll make it happen. So thank you, everybody. We're going to keep fighting.
Brian, thank you very much. I'm a farm boy, a long way from the ocean, and I'm not going to go back and plow this field again, but I will answer any questions that you have out there. My colleagues here will chime in with whatever they may offer on specifics. Bottom line in all this is that we do have an opportunity here, and we have a necessity. This is a major American security issue. We can do all we want to talk about on the military side of it, and this will help the military build ships and other equipment that they're going to need, and get the equipment to where it is needed around the world. So it's a national security issue of profound importance, and it's also an opportunity to rebuild our industrial base all across America. It's not just steel, it's not just engines, it's a lot of different pieces that go into these very complex ships that we're going to be building. So we got our hands full. We can do this. The tide is with us. So let's make it happen, okay? We'll take whatever questions are that you have out there. Matt and Brian help me along the way. Trent has run off to another meeting where he's going to be pushing this along. So if you have questions, now's your moment. Get that accent out there.
I wanted to ask about the AUKUS agreement. On that last point, you mentioned this will complement military shipbuilding capacity. At the moment, Australia is banking on the purchase of 3 Virginia-class submarines from the US in the 2030s, but with the current rate of production, there's a big question mark over whether that will happen. What needs to happen to get that industrial base to the point where it can produce the subs to replenish the American fleet, which is a condition of providing them submarines to the Australian beach, and is that realistic at this point?
It's not only possible. I'm going to repeat your question because I'm not sure that the microphone's picked it up here. Your question deals with the AUKUS agreement that encompasses the transfer of American naval technology, particularly submarines, to Australia. And there's much, much more to it than just the submarines. What we do know is that the American shipbuilding industry, for the commercial, is really hurting. Were it not for the Jones Act, there'd be very, very little. So this legislation deals specifically with the commercial side of it. However, as we rebuild the commercial, we also rebuild the potential to enhance the ability of our public shipyards to build the naval ships. And there is a major concern on all of the Armed Services Committees, Senate and House, to get that project going forward. It was discussed this morning by Admiral Paparo about the necessity of that program in the terms of American projection of power in the Pacific. Australia is critically important, as it was in World War II, and it will be in any conflict and in preventing any conflict in the future. So the AUKUS will move forward. I do know that our committee is very focused on this issue. Part of it is going to require a very, very significant investment that some of the folks here will be involved in improving the public shipyards. Program we called PSYOPS, which is an acronym for a complex thing. We have to rebuild those government yards, make them more efficient. Simultaneously, because of this bill, we will do the same thing for the commercial yards that are not owned by the government but owned by other entities. There will be opportunity in this bill to upgrade those yards. All of this comes together to make America, maybe use one of Trump's terms here. Excuse me, I'll just let that go. But there really is an opportunity here to rebuild the American industrial base and the maritime industry simultaneously. Stand by, we're going to make this happen, and AUKUS is critically important.
And can it happen without the passage of this bill? Do you consider this as critical to that industrial base upgrade that needs to happen militarily?
The American legislation is build it in America, make it in America, except for, and there's a whole lot of exceptions. So I would expect as we move this and energize all of this, that it'll be principally American, but there will be the rest of our allies and interested partners will be participating in various ways. Some of that is already being talked about. Matt, I don't know if you want to go into that.
No, I would just say right now what you're seeing in a lot of our legacy programs, submarines included, industry has stepped up and we're doing distributed shipbuilding. We're pushing out modules to non-nuclear companies and they're meeting the challenge. They're building those assets, and I think we're very proud of the fact that we're going to export the best, most capable, most stealth assets in the world to our allies. I think that's a compliment to U.S. manufacturing, U.S. Capability and ingenuity. It's all happening here. So very proud of that, and we're going to deliver on that demand signal. And that's the other thing, sir. There is a demand signal, and when we see a consistent demand signal, our industry doesn't just sit back idly. We're hiring thousands of people to meet that demand. So we're engaged and we're involved and we're excited about it.
Thanks, Matt. Other questions? I'm going to pick up on where you left it, Matt, and that is the men and women that will be on the ships, the men and women that will be building the ships, and those who will be doing the planning, all the engineering work. The legislation specifically speaks to building that capacity, the education, the apprenticeship programs. All of that is in the legislation. So as Trent was saying, the bill cuts across 12 different House committees. And the good news thus far is that the leadership is allowing for a consolidation of that. Right now, 2 committees, the Armed Services and Transportation Infrastructure Committee. Undoubtedly, there'll be others that will be involved in it, but that's part of the give and take of the legislative process that we'll be working through. And therefore the support of the organizations here saying, get it done, becomes really important, because that'll push the chairman of these other committees that may want to have a committee hearing Maybe we will, maybe we won't, but we're out of time. We're going to need to move this along. Other questions that you have? We'll let it go there. I want to thank all of you that have joined us here today. We'll be doing the hearing. I think it's scheduled for 4 o'clock. Is that correct? 3:30. That gives us about a half an hour before votes. We'll do this quickly. In any case, we're looking for this as being a very, very important step along the way. The bill will be formally in a committee, 2 committees actually, and that positions us to move it to the floor more quickly or to add it to another piece of legislation along the way. With that, I want to thank those of you that have joined us here today. Thank Trent, who ran off for another meeting that he has, and for our 2 colleagues over in the Senate, and for the administration. All of us working together, we will get this done. Thank you very much.